Jammed. This is our first live episode here. I am your host, Jarvis Johnson. You know, it wouldn't be right if we went live if I didn't bring some of the homies on to do the first live episode with me. So I got my boy G, the OC. I got Flyboy Kane. That is a familiar face and a familiar name to y'all. I got that boy Curry on here and my boy Woody. And we figured we go live on Super Bowl Sunday and kick this thing off the right way. Now we're going to talk about the game, and I know it wasn't much of a game. And I'm a grown man. I'm one that will admit when I'm wrong. I had the Chiefs winning the game 34-31 in my predictions, and boy, was I wrong. Not only was I wrong on that, I was wrong on the halftime performance too. I had Kendrick Lamar just doing the last verse of the song, and boy, he came out and said the man name, and we're going to get into all of that on this as we go through and talk. But we're going to start with the game. What did you guys think about the first when the game first started from pregame and then going into the first quarter? Let's start with you, G.
Man, I thought that it was going to come down. I had the Eagles winning. I wanted them to win. I think they just fly around. I think they're a real physical football team. They like to run the ball. They got some explosive wide receivers. That go vertical, and they showed that. I mean, I think the Chiefs had a good. They did a really good job stopping the run game of Saquon Barkley. They did a really good job. I mean, he was really only had like I think 30, 40 yards rushing. They had to get the ball to him on the edge with the swing passes and things like that. But he was still able to get what he needed to do done. But I thought as far as him running the ball, I mean they did a good job of stopping that. Now they didn't have an answer for the receivers, AJ Brown and those guys on the edge just torching people in that one-on-one coverage. You'd find it, and he'd go down the field on them. And I mean, I thought coming down to it, I thought the Eagles would win. Just because 2 years ago, whenever they were they got beaten, and Jalen Hurts is a competitor, man. And, I really like that offensive line. That offensive line, they're showing it at the beginning of the game. I mean, they're 6'6", averaging 6'6", 330 across, and it's like, yeah, they recruited and they got the right people to do what they wanted to do. They got a powerful quarterback. They got a killer running back. And, if you don't stop them, you're going to lose the game, And I thought they did a good job of at least holding them down. But, they were able to get after them, through the air, and Jalen Hurts earned a lot of respect from, a lot of critics out there. So I thought that, it was a great performance by the Eagles, and they just played inspired. And when Patrick Mahomes, comes down to, yeah, he made some bad throws, he threw some interceptions and things like that. But I mean, they were after him from the first snap to the last snap, and I think getting him out of his rhythm, he's trying to do some things that he normally do, getting out of the pocket, throwing off balance, and heck, one of them went for interceptions the other way, and as far as the game, I thought it was great just to, see that physical brand of football. I thought the Chiefs would definitely score some more points, but how about Xavier Worthy? What I mean, just speed, and speed kills. So in the halftime show, I'm a Kendrick fan, so I had to, I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was really surprising because I was hearing that they might not play that song, and as they were kind of teasing it throughout the halftime show of actually doing it, and then he actually did it, I was like, all right, Aubrey's really mad right now. So it was a good. I thought it was fun. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, so coming out in the first half, I think one of the most important things that happened in that first half was, you kind of got worried when you saw them throw that PI on AJ Brown in the beginning, and you thought, oh, here we go, the Chiefs are about to start cheating, but obviously that didn't happen, and I was kind of worried when that went on, but. Yeah, you're right, man. Mahomes, he couldn't get nothing done. He couldn't get moving in the pocket for sure.
Yeah, he tried to do what he does, man. He tried to step up, skate down the middle, make plays, extend plays, and they were just all over. They knew what his plan was, and They did a really good job. Their D line. I mean, the announcer even said it. Man, they didn't even blitz. They're just sending them 4 D linemen after them, and they were just getting home. And man, I know them O linemen. They feeling bad a little bit. Owing Patrick Mahomes a couple of apologies, but it was definitely a great job by Eagles defense.
Now, so I know we got somebody on here that is an Eagles fan. Woody, tell me what that feeling was like when the game started, and then obviously, like I said, the pass interference went down, but then the Eagles, they seemed like they were in control the whole game. As an Eagles fan, how did it feel to see that from start to finish?
Yeah, like you said from the beginning, though, I was kind of nervous. I thought they was gonna stand that start that Kansas City cheating thing with the refs, but they didn't, and I thought they did pretty good, man, from the beginning. The good thing I liked about it, the defense was flying around, getting control of Patrick Mahomes, not going out and let him get on the outside, let him get it loose, because that's where he's dangerous at. When he goes on the outside and start hit Kelsey, he started to get open a little bit after that. But if you hold him in that pocket good enough and sack him, man, we control the game. And that's what the defense really did, holding them. We had at least 21 first downs. They only had 11 first downs. So offense was moving. Like you said, my man, they had us really stopped on the running game. But again, when you stop the running game, that opened up the other playbook for other receivers. We got hit the middle, you know what I mean? So I think we did a pretty good job, and I think we was in control of the game the whole game. I hope for halftime they didn't come out, Reed told them something, here they go again, coming back on us, but they didn't. We still had control of the game. Hurts did his things, started using his legs. So I think all around, man, as a good team, man, we did good. So I'm very proud of them boys, man.
You can tell that boy Woody feeling good. He feels revenge from a couple years ago when
man,
the
I'm telling you, that 3 points, man, been hunting me for a long goddamn time, homie. They said that 3 points to come back and hurt you. Yeah, it damn did. Bit me on the ass for a whole bunch of years, man. But we got it. We got our revenge, man, and I'm happy about it. So I did my victory lap.
Yeah, so Curry, I got Curry on here. Tell me about that. Coach G brought it up. He brought up a good point, man. It seemed like Mahomes just could not get comfortable as a D line guru that Curry is. Tell me how you felt like the Eagles D line held up as far as the game went.
Man, I'll tell you what, anytime you coach in the trenches, we talk about winning the one-on-one battles, and Philadelphia was unbelievable at winning those one-on-one battles, and it was awesome. And every time Mahomes got sacked, I mean, I was yelling as loud as I could. I'm sure the neighbors heard me going, sack. But it's the same thing I do on Friday nights, coaching the high school teams. And, I was fortunate enough. I've coached a lot of places. I coached at Jacksonville, Texas back in 2014. And we're watching film, and our next district opponent was White House, Texas, where Patrick Mahomes is from. And I said, hey, listen, I've never gone into a game saying there's no way we can win this game. And they said, well, that guy graduated, and it was Patrick Mahomes. I said, I said, that's unbelievably the best quarterback I've ever seen at the high school level. And the games before, John Tyler's real good, and they had him sacked, and then he sidearms as he's falling to the ground and throws 30, 40 yards downfield and completes a touchdown. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And to be able to contain a guy with that much athleticism and win those one-on-one battles is awesome. I mean, you got to be able to win those, and they're not easy, and you work it every day, regardless what level you are, high school, college, NFL. You got to be able to win those one-on-ones, and I felt like Philadelphia, they had the upper hand, and they found a way to get to Mahomes. And I mean, there was a time in the game, I think they had 2 or 3 sacks back to back, and
Yeah,
and I said, man, I don't think Mahomes has ever been touched or even hit this much. And to me, it was a great feeling because, coaching the D line, it's like, hey, we got to make that quarterback uncomfortable. And I felt like Philadelphia was really good at making him uncomfortable.
well, that's one thing about it. It seemed like every time when the Chiefs had the ball, you were hearing and another sack. You know, it was like,
Mhm.
I think he was only comfortable maybe on one or two throws, and those were some of the big throws that he had late. But for the most part, I mean, he was a man that seemed to be running for his life throughout the whole game. And that, it wasn't, let's just be honest while we all sitting here, it was not much of a game from start to finish. At one point, I was just looking at the numbers to see if my squares hit. And as a football and a Super Bowl fan, you kind of hate to see it that way, unless you're Woody. Obviously, he was obviously extremely excited for today's game, being an Eagles fan.
Appreciate that.
If the Cowboys were there, I would feel the same way. If the Steelers were there, Curry would feel the same way. So let's not get it twisted. Now I got my boy Flyboy Kane on here, and if you guys have listened to the podcast, we talk music a lot. Kane, chime in right here and let us know how you felt about Kendrick Lamar and because me and you just talked a couple days ago. We talked about what we predicted for the performance. So tell me what you think as far as the halftime performance went with Kendrick Lamar.
Man, well, I liked it, of course. He did not like us, as we thought or we had some conversations of what actual verse he was going to do. You were going with the last verse. I was trying to say maybe the whole song, but he did the first verse. He said Drake's name. He looked in the camera when he did it. It was like everything. He's like I said. I was telling Woody. It has to be one of the greatest diss songs of all time because he wins 5 Grammys for it, and then he's on the Super Bowl performing. Even with all the lawsuits and allegations, he still applies pressure. So it's like I thought it was really good. The other songs that he did, as far as the Euphoria, that's one of my favorite tracks. I'm glad he did that, along with some of his other great songs. But I thought it was. I mean, Kendrick's not like a big performer. He's not gonna wow you with all the antics on the stage, but it's the actual songs that he did. It was like okay, that was pretty good. And then with Samuel L. Jackson on there and everything, it was like he put all the pieces together to make like kind of a great show, especially for a hip hop guy, because you don't really see hip hop guys doing like performances like that.
With Samuel L. Jackson being out there in the American hat, it was like Kendrick was trying to make sure that he sent that subliminal message to Drake, like we are America, so
Yeah.
they are not like us. And for him to tease the song a couple times, it's just kind of like he was just toying with old Drake, and I don't think that was very nice of him to do Drake like that. But who cares, right? And then as we're sitting there watching it, after he does the not like us, and man, I was wondering how he would do it with all of the language that was in there, with it being the Super Bowl, and everybody has their kids watching it. He did a great job editing out the words that he couldn't say and transitioning, especially when he got to the certified lover boy, certified, hold up, the rest, right? And then even when he got to A minor, he did say it, and so did the whole crowd. And for him to look and smile at the camera at old Drake, this is the ultimate victory lap for old Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
on top of
Arena.
that, the other subliminal that he sends to me at the end of it is after he does not like us, he does turn the TV off after that. So all of that, I believe he may have been talking to Drake
And he
the
had
whole time.
the A minor chain on. So
Yeah.
that was kind
I
of crazy.
mean, and then my wife, she was like, I thought it would be better. I said, halftime performances, you really don't know how great they are until you go back and watch them again. It's hard to catch it all in that
Yeah.
short 15-minute span, especially when you're moving around or taking a break from the game or whatnot. But we probably won't, because we sat down last night and watched the one from last year. I mean, we went all the way back and watched them just, the previous years. And like even Rihanna, like I didn't think Rihanna's was that good, just thinking about it initially. But when I went back and watched it, I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty good. Usher, I thought all that was pretty good. Obviously, and I got to thinking about it. This ain't Kendrick's first time being on the Super Bowl stage. He did it with Dre and Snoop, and then when they were out there in LA. So he was used to the atmosphere. So, it's not a surprise that he rocked it the way he did. Any of you guys got any other thoughts on the halftime performance?
Yeah, that boy Kel, he was hype. He was crunk. He was excited for Kendrick to come on, and he told me every time, you know, Kendrick teased that song, he said he's going to do it. He's going to do it. I bet you he finishes with it. And I'm like, man, he ain't going to finish with that. Like, he can't do that on a national level like that. And when he finished on it, I was like, wow. And then there's a song Kendrick has with, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it's S.
Oh, Scissor.
SZA, old SZA, Curry. Come on
Yeah.
now.
But listen, it's SZA, but All the Stars. And Kel's like, Dad, that's your favorite song. I'm like, yeah, I know. I said, but I didn't realize Kendrick was in it back when I used to love that song. And Kel goes, I bet they play that song and Not Like Us or whatever that diss is. And when those came on, and he was like, I told you.
Anybody else? Any other thoughts on the halftime performance there?
Yeah, I like the bringing Serena out with the sea walk. You know,
All good on the performance. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
you
good.
know.
Now
and-
let's talk.
and
So
that's,
we know
Drake's old
the
girlfriend.
game was a blowout. The Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. What does this do? We'll swing back to G here. G the OC. What does this do for Jalen Hurts and his career as an NFL quarterback winning the Super Bowl MVP?
Man, I think it just you know, kind of just lets everybody know that, you know, that dude's a winner. You know, that dude is a winner. Everything he's ever done has been high level. You know, he's going from Alabama to OU, being a Heisman you know, runner up, and then going into the NFL, and everybody's just always, you know, he's not a quarterback, or he's not a great quarterback. You know, he can't throw the ball, or whatever it may be. Everybody's real critical on him. And you know, I don't care what the dude can do. The dude wins. The dude wins football games, and you know, proving it tonight. Like I said earlier, the Chiefs had a great, you know, run stopper plan, and you know, he torched them. You know, he has great receivers, and you know, he made those guys pay for putting single coverage on some of those receivers out there. And I think it just, you know, is a great moment for him. You know, he's a real humble guy. You hear him talk, and you know, he's thanking God, and you know, he's humble about everything. He's a good leader, and you know, he's not real boastful or anything like that. But you know, in the back of his mind, he's like, yeah, you know, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Everybody said I wasn't. So, I mean, I'm a Jalen Hurts fan for sure. For sure, he's a really good football player.
You like Jalen Hurts because he can squat 500 and something pounds. It's like, yeah, and
Hey, dude's
he's
a
from
leader.
Texas. Yeah,
He's
and he's from Texas, so we're happy to have him. Now, you know, going back to Woody here, you know, I always got to go back to the Eagles fans, show them some props when they win the Super Bowl, you know, and they're in the division with my Cowboys, so I'm kind of upset with them right now, but that's okay.
As well as you should.
You know, Woody, tell me, you know, you got one of the youngest coaches in the NFL and Nick Sirianni, right? So you know, I think I texted you earlier. He's the third coach to reach the Super Bowl 2 times in his first 4 seasons. You know, just like I asked Coach G about Jalen Hurts' legacy, what does this do for Coach Sirianni's legacy as far as with the Eagles?
Well, with this win, I'm sure it puts him in a safe spot because, like I said, he sent it to the Super Bowl twice already. So that right there tell you, know, there's even with interviews from some of the guys, I've seen from some of the guys, they saying how some of them became men and overcome some of the tragedy that's happening in the locker room and some of the things that's happening last year. They've overcome all of the mess that couldn't get along with all the coaches and some of the other coordinators, the people that's coming in that's new, that they got all over the hump and started playing together as a team. They said, forget all the junk that happened last year, forget all that was happening now. Let's come together. We got to get this stuff together this year and happening. So I think he got a safe spot as a coach this year. His coordinator, of course, is leaving as we are here. He's going to the Saints. So I'm sure I don't know if he's going to go back and playing as in being a play caller again. I don't know. We'll see what they do with that with the offensive coordinator, who they pick up after this. But as far as that, I think he's in a good spot of holding down this position where he's in as a head coach pretty far.
Well, you know, the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl, that old head coach, they got rid of him in about after 2 years after that, didn't they? What was it, Peterson? Was that the last coach, the one that was in Jacksonville?
Doug. You talking about when they went? Yeah, Doug. He's at over there. Yeah, they got rid of Doug, and I'm glad they got rid of Doug my damn self, to be honest. He's over there in Jacksonville where he need to be over there, man. Doug is all right. I give Doug his props, man. He invented the Philly special, man. But, I give props when it's due, man. But I'm always a cat of young meat and new creations. You know what I mean? These young cats, they creative on the field, man. They come up with new ideas and new plays and how to win football games, man. Doug is old school.
Yeah. All right. So you saying that Nick's going to be around more than 2 years after this win right here?
The way this damn league is going, who knows who be around what way, man. Hell, you be with a coach one year and hell, you lose and next your ass is gone. Look at Ohio State, what almost happened to Ron.
Yeah.
He lost one damn good game and they was ready to get rid of his ass.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, let's flip. Let's talk on the losing side here. What does this do for, let's say, Mahomes and his legacy? I know he wanted to have the three-peat. Do you guys feel like this diminishes, especially the way they got beat? Does this diminish him any, or is he still the same? Or how do you guys feel about that?
He's still one of the greatest to me. I don't think it diminishes like what he's done. I mean, he just the better team won today. But they had a great season, so I don't think it's kind of. I mean, I think they'll be right back in the hunt next year. So.
Yeah, dude's 28 years old. He's got all his Super Bowl championships. He's going for number 4, I believe, and he'll be right back in it. He's still really young, and they're always talking about the Tom Brady, comparison and everything like that. Tom Brady played into his 40s. So if that dude plays into his 40s, he'll definitely be up there on the greatest of all time list still. So take the team, man. Take the team. It's not one dude.
Yeah. And what about old Andy Reid? You think that Andy Reid hangs it up after this, or you think he might want to come back and try to get his revenge? How do you guys feel about old Andy? He's getting a little long in the tooth, and he is the winningest coach for the Chiefs and the Eagles, which is impressive, and it's just crazy to see that the Eagles are the teams that beat them. That's kind of interesting. Well, what do you guys think about Andy Reid? You think he'll run it back for another year, or you think he might hang it up?
I think Uncle Andy's he's definitely gonna run it back. I don't think he's done. I like Andy Reid. We have the same last name, different spelling. Definitely not related. But he's got a team, he's got a quarterback, he's got a good defense. I mean, he's got a solid and he's kind of like Saban in my eyes. He's the best of the best at this era, at this time. I think he's above Belichick. Belichick had to learn how to play without Tom Brady. Tom Brady leaves and wins one in Tampa Bay. But they lost Tyreek Hill and they lost a couple other guys, defensively and offensively, but they still find a way to make it back, and they still find a way to be, relevant. And like I said, I think there's a lot more on his plate than he's willing to eat right now. But I think he could set a legacy forward, moving forward than what he's accomplished at this moment.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Andy is one of the best ones to ever do it. So, as we get ready to wrap this thing up, because like I said, it wasn't much of a game. I wish we had more to talk about. We've kind of covered it all. Let's look forward. Let's look to the future. What do you guys predict? What are you guys' predictions for next year's NFL season? Like, what does that look like as a sports fan? And we can just start and work our way around. Everybody kind of chime in on what we got. What do you guys see in the future as far as the NFL goes? I'll start first. Obviously, I got them Cowboys making a run. Let's not get it twisted, okay? I got the Cowboys making some moves, making some things happen, knocking the Eagles off in the division, Woody, and making a run. Now, will they go to the Super Bowl? I don't know. I don't know if they'll go to the Super Bowl or not. In the NFC, the NFC is always wide open, especially with the young buck and with the Commanders. Obviously, you got the Eagles, but I got my Cowboys making it back. And in the AFC, I want to see that boy Lamar. I think he'll be on a mission to make some things happen next year. So I'm hoping that he can get things turned around. You know, the NFL, you know, it's making some good strides, man. It's staying competitive, which is good. You just never know, especially with this game today. You know, the Chiefs don't reign supreme anymore, so hopefully we'll see some new blood in there, especially my Cowboys. So what are your guys' predictions for the next NFL season?
Man, I think I'm a Niners fan, so I got them getting healthy and getting back to where they were. You know, they play tough defense. They got a great offensive mind and coordinator, head coach in Shanahan, and I think that just a rough year for injuries, and I think they'll be back in the running, and probably have to play the Cowboys and the Eagles and all that stuff, and get back to where we were, the last couple years before this, and I think in the rest of the league for sure, Lamar Jackson. He, like you said, he's got a lot that he wants to prove to people. Kansas City will be back in it. I think one of my favorite teams is really the Lions. I like the way the Lions play football. I like the way they run the football, and fly around to the football. I like their head coach. Dude is he loves his players, but he's an old school coach, man. He's an intense guy, and I think that pushes his team plays like that. So whoever has to play them got a formidable opponent in front of them. So I think it's going to be a fun year for sure.
Well, I think my prediction would be if the Cowboys keep Prescott, I don't think they're gonna do good this year. I just don't have faith in Prescott. In fact, I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan and a Lions fan, but I don't think the Cowboys. It all depends on who they get in the draft. I think it's gonna make a big difference, but Jerry Jones is gonna mess it up somehow, man. So I ain't got very much stock in the Cowboys. The Lions, hopefully they have a good year, but they lost some valuable pieces too. They lost some, didn't they lose their offensive coordinator and the defense coach, and didn't lose them guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what got them there. The play calling and the defense. So if they can fill those voids, hopefully, they have a good season. The running backs are still doing their thing, and then they have the pieces back on defense. Hopefully, I see Kansas City definitely back in the hunt, probably back in the Super Bowl again. And but I would like to see, and like Jarvis is saying, Lamar, because he's just been that's what's so good about Jalen winning it, because Mahomes is like the Jordan of this era as far as right now, way he's been winning. So it's Jalen, he can at least say he won in the Mahomes era, something that what's the name that he hasn't done yet. So hopefully Jackson can get him one, but I don't know. Like I say, I see Mahomes getting there again. The Eagles probably will get there again. I don't know. I think that I'm more interested to see where the Shadors and the people like that are going out of the draft, what team they're going to go to, how those teams are going to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say Cowboys are trying to get Ganty. Well, I hope they do. That dude from Boise State, he's unreal. He's unbelievable. I hate the Cowboys. I am a professional Cowboys hater.
Man,
I
think
only
they're gonna
watch the only games I watch on Sundays are Dallas Cowboys, because when they lose, I have to be able to talk trash, and it's been a long running joke for me. It's said, Jerry Jones, he's more worried about money than he is winning. He hosts more NCAA championships, Big 12 championships, concert, Taylor Swift. I mean, he hosts PBR. It's unbelievable the amount of events that he hosts that bring him money. Dak Prescott, he's a good human being, and he's a good quarterback, and he's surrounded by great athletes. But I foresee Dallas Cowboys, they need a running back. Well, here we go. Round one, pick whatever the Cowboys are, one or two, because they were horrible this year. It's going to go, oh, we select so and so offensive linemen. They're going to be horrible, and I hope they continue that path. But I am a very big Mike Tomlin fan, and I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. And my dad and my grandpa have always loved the Pittsburgh Steelers, and G can piggyback on this. And me being a Steelers fan hasn't always been because of my dad and my grandpa, but me and G played with we played with a guy who was round one, pick 32, and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. His name was Ziggy Hood, and me and G played with him. I mean, we used to be during track season. We'd stay in hotels room with him, and he was just a very good human being, and didn't really come from anything. wasn't wasn't really brought up in the best life you could ever imagine. I mean, and like I said, G can piggyback on this. This guy used to roller skate, at Sonic back when Sonic used to do roller skates to bring you your food, and that guy worked from nothing, and he ended up going to Missouri, and then he used to always come back home and talk to me and Gilbert, and always say, "Hey, there's bigger things outside of Palo Duro. There's bigger things outside the North Side." Which I didn't live on the North Side. G did, and I'm like, man, that dude made me work hard, and it was freaking awesome. I was like, Shh, this guy made it. He's round one, pick
And he
32.
played and he played with the Steelers.
Yep.
Yep.
You know,
He lost the Super Bowl to I'm pretty sure it was Aaron Rodgers. The first Super Bowl played at AT&T. He lost the Super Bowl to the Packers, and for whatever reason, my brother I'm the oldest of 7, 8. I'm the oldest of
boy,
8.
don't even know how many siblings he got.
I got too many. It don't matter. But I'm the oldest of 8, and my next youngest brother, he's a huge Packers fan. And in 2009, 10, whatever year it was, Ziggy was playing for that Pittsburgh Steelers team, and they lost to the Green Bay Packers. And I was mad. I was mad as hell. But I'm always rooting for the Steelers, and I'm always rooting against the Cowboys. It don't matter.
Now, the Cowboys, before I let Woody get in and give his predictions for next year's NFL season, the Cowboys didn't win very many games, but they did beat the Steelers. So go ahead, Woody. Go ahead and say what you got to say. Go ahead.
Well,
Wait a minute.
I'm with my man Curry, man. I'm part of the He-Man Cowboy Hater Club.
Well, you and Curry can be friends. What the?
Well, goddamn it, we'll be pen pals. Whatever we need to do, we'll talk about y'all every time I'm with him. Every time on Sundays when y'all lose, I can't wait to go to work. Just talk about it, everybody. Oh, we'll hear the same shit we hear all the time. Oh, there's always next year. Oh, we're gonna make it next year to the playoffs. So, we're speaking of that. Again, like my man said, we don't know what Jerry's gonna do. It ain't about the coaches. It ain't about anybody else but Jerry. We don't know what we're going to do until he decides what he's going to do. So when he decides to pick up a losing goddamn quarter, another goddamn losing ass quarterback, because when y'all drop Dak, he's going to pick up another lazy ass one, just like he didn't want to drop Romo. But Romo, I give Romo his credit. Romo had his thing. But this dude, Dak, Mississippi, good luck. Anyway, I predict my Eagles to go back because we're going to stay healthy. Saquon still on this contract. We still got our receivers coming back. Hopefully our defense, that's what I'm worried about. I don't want to break up the Georgia boys. We keep winning like this at some time you're going to break up the fan club. Ain't nobody going to afford everybody. But right now, you can't leave Allen them out either, man. The Bills. Them boys are hungry. Yeah. They lose every year. They hungry. Yeah. That's the great white hope. And trust, believe he will come through. I don't know when. But they're going to give him the tools to come through. I guarantee it. Lamar, I was there at that draft when they got drafted. He said, since they picked me last, I will win. I truly believe that. again, they got to give him the tools. He gets right there at that hump, man. It just can't get over. I don't know if they just watch film on this man. They just stop him. But I truly believe they will give him the weapons too. And I truly believe Patrick, they'll be back. He always find the win. He always have a meeting with all the refs to tell them it's going to be just our year again, refs. So, you blow the whistle on this call. You blow the whistle for me on this one. So they will make it back. They always got a good program. Again, Andy Reid comes from the Eagles, Philadelphia, pregame. But he'll be back, definitely. Andy always picks a good crowd, man. Andy always gets a good program. He knows how to pick his players. Who else? I definitely see the Detroit. I'm a fan of Dan Quinn. I'm a big fan of Dan Quinn. I definitely see the Lions. They got a hell of a two-headed monster running the game. Once they get Gibbs and Montgomery going, like they did when Dallas had a two-headed monster, when y'all did know how to use that shit.
Hey, man.
But my bad, old stuff. But if they utilize that, man, and they got some weapons with Brown over there, man, they're gonna be something to reckon with once they get their stuff together too. I really thought we was gonna have a problem with them boys this year, to be honest. I really did. But I got them boys going back too, man. So and like Kane said, man, some of these new Thundercats is coming in. I'm really interested to see where they go and what they do. Because just like Worthy took off when he got here for the first year, you see what he did. So ain't no telling what's gonna happen with these young cats. Like my boy, if he goes to Dallas for the running back from Boise, who knows? Maybe they will go a little further. Maybe they will go to the first round playoffs with them. Because after that's a wrap. But maybe they will. Who knows? But these young Thundercats, man, they got something to prove, man. So I'm interested to see how the league is going to be. But you can't leave them 4 teams out for sure.
Well, there you guys have it, man. That's our predictions for next year. It's sad to see that football is finally over. I guess we'll tune into the NBA and that sort of deal until football comes back around for us. Man, I appreciate you guys coming out for the first ever live episode of Jam the Podcast. We had no idea what we were doing there, and I figured I'd be Jam making it happen, but I think you guys came on and did a great job. Like I said in the beginning, it wouldn't be right for me to try to do it, by myself without bringing the homies on. And I got some of the best guys that I know personally on this live podcast, and maybe we'll all get together and do it again. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and if not, you may be Jam. Thanks for listening.
Peace.